Alright, let's check out if I can actually hear myself. Alright, let's check. Okay, I can. That should be fine. So let me post the link again to a couple of places and then we can get going. Once more for the Patreon. So that should be fine now, and I think I might be able to start. Oops, not that one. Yeah. Okay, so let's check out the Patreon request first and then get going with the other things. I think I only had a couple things here. That might be also just Patreon exclusive things because those have not been analyzed before. And that is a thing I do for Patreon. So let's take a look at that dish. Okay, so that is a new asset. And TGT. Neither of those have I analyzed before, so I'm going to be skipping those and creating a Patreon exclusive video for those later on. I got a few more. I need to get or need to do one or two today for that as well. So I'm not going to be doing too long of a live stream. Of course, we're going to go through all the assets that we generally do, and then I'm going to be recording those. So Solana, definitely a good looking thing. First of all, of course, we had the idea that this could be an ABC, but now it obviously turns into this being a something more. It definitely has the potential of being a partner for this move here. So again, if we want to get some targets, here we go, 1-to-1 hit. So that generally means that this whole thing has the potential, of becoming an ABC, which is a corrected structure, correcting something previous to it. It could be either this structure over here or this whole thing. Log scale, if we are looking at that, it looks a bit better. Time-wise, is it enough to be correcting this whole thing? Yes, it is. But again, it is kind of shallow of a correction, or if we are thinking it is correcting this whole thing. I would generally wanted to go beyond the 0.5, but again, we did tag one of the main targets here, which would be the 0.382 for the retracement. So again, thinking of that, it definitely has the potential of, well, creating something like this. But again, that is the worst case scenario, or the most bearish scenario that we have. Locally, we don't need to be worrying about that at this point. This looks very bullish. We have the low here, and since the low was put in place, we definitely created 1 2 1 2, maybe 3 4 5, or maybe one more high here. We got some divergences formed here, but not too many. So I would like to see one more high to be broken here. Let's get off of log scale. One more high to be broken here, and indeed, if this is still a wave 4 of this move to the upside, we would be just creating a wave 1 2 of that fifth. Again, if we come back down towards the golden pocket of this move here into these lows, 0.5 or something, we could be looking for that move to the upside, and then we would be going long against the low here. similar to this, and expectation of course would be taking out the previous high. This wick however is kind of scuffed, so maybe we don't need to be worrying about that wick, and we could be just targeting some of these highs here, and you can see the risk reward ratio is pretty decent. But yeah, that is Solana for now. I really like the upside. It doesn't really look like it is for me to be possible to create something like this. Let's see the retracement, how much it was. Just beyond the 1.618. So again, the probabilities lies with the idea that this is indeed a start of something new, as this is, in my opinion, a very decent 5-way move. But that is to come, and we'll see how that turns out soon. Again, we are on 30 minutes, so short time frame anyway, so it should be visible at some point. Now, regarding what this could be, of course, it can be part of an ABC, and if this whole thing here is finished before it, we could have this as the connecting structure to the downside. So again, taking profits earlier at some kind of one-to-one, some of these previous highs is definitely interesting, and definitely areas to look forward to. But that is Solana, which was the only request for now. Let's go through the stocks first. Nvidia came down a bit lower than I was expecting. Again, the invalidation for this idea that we had this as a wave 4 was at these highs. So again, nothing invalidated. It came down a bit lower, and we still have the possibility of looking for this fifth. If that is the case, potential 1, 2, and then off to the highs. And yeah, it still has the potential of going up for sure. Overall higher time frame, we still have the divergences here locally on the 3rd of 3rd against the 5th of 3rd, and of course here on the 3rd of 3rd against the 5th of 3rd. So that is definitely interesting. I have already set alarms on top here, and we could be expecting some here. 2.236 as one of the targets, if nothing extends, so around $500. Again, a very big and very well round number, so people are going to be taking profits there for sure. Again, we know that Nvidia is at the all-time highs, and something like these as 500 is very round number, and definitely something that people would be looking into as a easy target. So another 10% high or created would probably give us some kind of move to the downside, I would assume. So again, this is not the best way of labeling it, but there is a chance that this indeed is an extended fifth. If it is not, then it is kind of hard to label this. We can have, of course, this as wave 3 here, and this would be some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the last leg of that fifth. It wouldn't change the count at all on higher time frame, so it does not matter. Again, both in my opinion are looking to end soon. We have divergences forming, and yeah, that to me is good enough, and I would be looking for some kind of reaction sooner, or rather sooner than later. Netflix, we had that drop down coming, and this was last Thursday, I think. Yeah, last Thursday. And again, what I would be seeking here is that this would be most likely a start of something. Of course, can it be a end of something? It would be kind of odd to see this, but I think Tesla, for example, has that very similar situation where this could be that wave 4, where you would be going long at this point, since we have not again gone beyond the 1.6 minute retracement of this wave A here for the wave B. So again, it's kind of different looking, because here we have gone so much past the 1.6 minute retracements, which makes it less probable that this indeed is a wave B, because again, it makes it look kind of bad in my opinion. Is it possible? Of course it is. Those are just the guidelines I go by. So, but yeah, in my opinion, again, it looks better as wave 4 complete already there. And the thing how you'd be playing this is you'd be looking to get into some of these retracements and looking for short setups. So for example, at 0.5, you would be looking for something like this and then targeting lower. And again, depending on where you get one-to-one extension, definitely an area of interest, and seeing if there is something like these previous highs or something as a target. But again, we would need to be looking at that separately later on, when and if that happens. But yeah, just the thoughts on that for Netflix as well. Meta, another moonshot. I was already hoping that we would break the channel. We did break the channel, faked everyone out, and then boom, to the upside. This definitely looks like it is a 5-way move, and I feel like there is potential. Well, there is a smaller time frame. We have divergences already here. If this loads up, there we go. So very small time frame divergences here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there could be some kind of move to the downside, and whether this is again the end, I have no idea. Oops. Let's get back. There we go. Oh, this is 100%. Have I had it like a 90% or something the whole time? Oh well. Maybe that's why the numbers look a bit different. But yeah, the idea is that I have no idea at this point where we are at with this move. It is just a channel going up. I don't really have much going for it, and I just need to be waiting for Meta to do some clear structures like this one here, this 5-wave. Of course, unfortunately, it is to the upside, which is again the prevailing trend. So there's not much going for that. If we get, however, a 3-way structure to the downside, we could be looking to play at least a move to the upside as a separate structure, regardless of the higher time frame and regardless of not knowing where we are. So we would be looking for a partner like this for this one. Of course, on higher time frame, we sure do have very large time frame divergences forming here, here, here. So again, trying to go long at these points is like, well, I wouldn't really suggest that too much, but you could definitely play the structures on lower time frames still. And Tesla we already talked about. I'm already long on this against the lows here, and I don't really like this too much as a count because this wave 4 here is so significantly larger. If and when we come up here, this is exactly what I was talking about on the Tesla video, on CTC video last weekend, I believe, where if we get this move in 3, I would be looking to hedge my long from here with the short, because again, it is possible that we have this as very, very ugly 5-wave here, and this 5th wave is actually complete, and this whole wave 4 again would be here, and this would be the start of that downfall for Tesla, and again we would be creating a structure like this, because again, this to me is the clearest structure at this point as a 5-way move to the downside. Here was another opportunity to go long. We had a 3-way structure here. And yeah, it did not hit the 1-to-1. Did it not? Why do I remember it did? Maybe I'm thinking of some different asset. Probably I am. But yeah, this was the only opportunity to get in on long, in my opinion. Higher time frame structure, 3-way structure, and then getting out somewhere, or at least taking partial profits at the high here. But at this point again, this still can be a start of something new or the end of this. So again, hedging yourself out of this mess is the best way, taking profits where you can, and then creating that hedge position against the highs. one of them is going to be stopped out, hopefully. At this case, you would be again taking the profits here on this long and then setting a stop to the positive or on the plus side, so you're not going to lose money on that, and then again looking for that hedge short to create profits here again. But yeah, that's the Tesla ideas for now. We'll see how they turn out. Nothing is, of course, for sure, but that's just structure wise what I like at this point. Now let's go through the these cryptos. So Bitcoin, this was the structure that we had previously, we talked about, and this was the setup. I am no longer really looking for this as a wave 4. It is starting to become too large. There is most likely a scenario, or there is a scenario where this whole structure is a 1-2-1-2, which is a super bearish count. Again, we've talked about the idea that this is the end of a 5-way structure with this ending diagonal here, expanding one. But that is definitely a possibility. So if this indeed is a 1-2-1-2, then it's going to be very massive right to the downside at this point soon. The thing here is that there is a chance that this whole thing is an ABC, and this is finished since we hit the 0.618 here. And that is, well, it's kind of not a good thing to see that we hit it, because again it gives a bit more probabilities that it is done. However, I don't really like to target the 0.618 as a target for this kind of moves, because again it is very much more rare. So if we correctively come up with this channel somewhere into the 0.618, somewhere, let's see, maybe into the 29.8 ish. There it looks to be some kind of order blocks there. Here you might be potentially wanting to look for a short opportunity here, very local scalp, for example, something like this. You could be looking for that. At this point, again, this is a mess. I have no idea how I would want to label that, so I'm going to be staying out of that mess structures, and we'll just take a look at what brings, or what is actually happening after this resolves itself. If we come up here, I would probably look for that short opportunity though. The only invalidation Elliott wave wise is this high here, which would invalidate the idea that this is a 1-2-1-2. If we break this high, it also means that this whole thing was an ABC and it has finished here. It does not mean that we can't have more to the downside. It just means that this structure here was finished. We can have a corrective structure here and create another WXY here, okay? Or this could be lasting way longer. It could come up all the way here or even beyond it. Even if this is the start of something. A, B, C, creating an expander flat here. That is completely possible. And then again at that point, we'd be looking for this whole structure to be fitting something like this. But again, that is way too much further, or trying to look into the future, and it doesn't really offer anything good. So again, at this point, I would be just focusing on this structure, seeing when it resolves itself, and then we can take another look at how we should be going with the market or against the market. ETH, I have not really focused on ETH at this point. We have the Bitcoin has had better structures overall. In my opinion, this looks very kind of decent as a A. We could have this as an ABC like so as well, as we did hit the 0.618, so we could have it already completed like this. Again, it's quite different from Bitcoin. I don't really like this too much. This mess is very much more of a channel-like, unlike Bitcoin. You can clearly label this in some kind of 5-way move, and then some kind of 3, but I'm not really sure what and how you would want to be labeling this. Maybe it is some kind of diagonal here. I just don't know. ETH is kind of weird at this point. That's why I'm not really touching it. I can't even remember when I was playing ETH last time. Once it creates some good structures, like this one here, we had the potential of having this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then some kind of 3-way move here, taking the liquidity first here to create a running flat inside, take the liquidity from the top, come back down, take the liquidity from here again, and push the price down. But it came down in 3, so maybe this is actually some kind of expanding diagonal. I don't know. It would be super ugly. Yeah. This is the exact reason I can't really trade ETH at this point, because I don't know where we are at. And the local structures are not really offering too much either, right? It's very much chop, similar to Bitcoin, so I'm just ignoring it for now. And once an opportunity arises, then we can take a look at that again. But that's ETH. Let's see. Solana we already took a look at. Let's look at ADA. This was kind of weird as well. This wave Y. We had the plan of this coming down, and it has come down quite significantly from these highs. Again, another 18%. The structure is just so bad. I'm not going to be touching this. This is probably going to be doing some sideways chop until Bitcoin and ETH is starting to do a bit of a larger run. But until then, again, ADA is definitely not on my playbook. Phantom has a potential of creating this as a 3-way structure here. Very extreme Phantom here, these extensions, which makes it harder to play. For example, this again coming down very deep here into like 90% retracement, which again fits into the idea that this could be a B wave overall on higher time frame, and then we'd be looking for that C wave. That would be super massively bullish, and the idea would be that we'd be creating a 5 wave here, and then we do this. So again, this kind of looks decent here locally. You could be saying that we have some kind of either 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 3, 4, 5. But for me, I would be just waiting until this whole thing clears up, and hopefully we get maybe 1 or 2 more highs here, because again, this is the highest high here on RSI. And if we are thinking that this is indeed a 1, 2, 1, 2, we would need at least 2 more highs. So this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 more highs, creating those divergences as we go up. And then we would be looking to get into that long trade here later on. But again, that is thinking into the future quite a long time. And again, these are the opportunities that arises once you are patient. You just can't go for mowing. Oh, of course you can, but I won't. I'm taking my trades where I see them. But yeah, Phantom definitely has a potential here, but again, later on. And that is the cryptos. Let's check out some of the indices still, and what I like about those. Start with Dow. Now Dow, we talked about a couple of different options here overall. Either this is an A, B, and C, or this is still an ABC, which would mean that wave B would be coming in later, and this would be a ABC inside of that B wave, and only then we would be getting this ABC. Is it possible that this whole structure here is finished, finishing a larger correction? Of course it is, but being conservative, we would think that this is an ABC rather than a 1, 2, and 3. But of course that is still possible, and at this point we are still going to the higher side or upside, still grinding higher on Dow, and yeah, that looks kind of decent. At this point, we have hit one-to-one extension, which is definitely a possibility where you could be still thinking that this is the maximum, basically the maximum extension you want to see for any three-way move. If we think that this indeed is an A, B, and then C. It is, I think, a bit less probable since we have hit that 1.6 minute now. So again, I would expect this to go further up at this point and hit the targets that we have here. So yeah, at this point it's kind of hard to get in on this trade anymore. ES grinding up higher, taking out the previous highs. Obviously, we can still think of this as an ABC. You can already start to almost think about the think about it as a 1-2. The only issue against the 1-2 idea is that we have to be thinking about this first mess over here. Looks like it has shifted my counts again a bit. I would need to shift these over. Doesn't really want me to select everything. Oh well, that's fine. Yeah, this first structure is kind of issued since we have the overlap here. We would have to have a diagonal in the first one, and also as a diagonal for this whole thing. Or you could be maybe saying that we have this as a 1, then 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's kind of have to be using some imagination there, but yeah, I feel like that might be the case at some point if we just continue to extend here. I'm not looking to trade this at all here. Like I've said, I don't really like this at this point. There's not really much going on here. We are still on the same what is this channel, same channel that we've been grinding on with, and we'll see if that breaks. It might give us opportunity for going higher, but I'm not going to be looking for any kind of breakout trades because that's not what I do. You can probably see some people on Twitter or somewhere putting up this as some kind of entry. For me, this is definitely not an entry, because we have already grinded up. If you have faith in the market, why are you not in here? Why are you not longing here and not here, not here? But why are you longing at top? I don't know. Of course, the breakout traders sometimes get lucky, and all fair game. And yeah, if they win, that's good for them, I guess. Not my style though. Nasdaq. This was the more bullish scenario that we had thought of last time when we were looking to label this mess over here. It's still playing out the way I was thinking, and maybe we get this 3-4-5, 3-4-5 into 3-4-5. This would be the much more bullish way of looking at it. At that point, again, this whole thing here would be the end of the correction. Again, I wouldn't really like this scenario, but if it is happening, then it's all fine. We can take a look at it later, and the opportunities rises once we get into here somewhere, probably next year, end of next year, if it gives us this kind of a three-way structure coming down, then we could be looking for long setups on the higher macro time frame again. Of course, we can be playing the smaller time frames in between if it is giving us good looking structures. But if we are just grinding up higher this way, there's not too many opportunities unless you can find something like this here. But again, it is kind of rare that these come up to all the way to that 1-to-1. Missing 1-to-1 here. I think missing 1-to-1 here. Yeah. Yeah, it's not very easy. This is probably one of those that you could have got in. Yeah, 1-to-1 to 1.236. But yeah, this was again back in April, so yeah, hourly time frame does not really offer too much. This here kind of looks like a 5-way move, to be honest, and I'm not quite sure if I like that being a end of something, because it would be the end of maybe this, but again, if we're just looking at the structure wise, it just looks horrible. So maybe there is a chance that we actually get that 3-wave up into that 1-to-1 extension. We are probably right there now, 1.236 actually, and you would be probably going against the 2-to-1 extension here or the top, and then you would be looking to get something like this. Again, I'm not quite sure of the labelings locally here, so there is a chance that this again could be already that third, and fourth would be here. If we get that as an ABC, it would be kind of a decent looking structure against or having the alteration against the wave 2, which was more of this sideways structure. So there is hope. I might be looking into this after the stream. Maybe get a short here. What else? RTY is creating the highs now that it hasn't had since, let's see, here, February. It is still doing what we were thinking. The only bullish option was that we were seeing was this kind of diagonal mess. It's not going to be looking pretty at all. We can't, unless we label the wave 2 here. That is definitely a possibility, and then it would be a truncated wave 2 or truncated wave C, but it doesn't really matter. We could have this something like this, and have this as some kind of diagonal in play. I don't like it. It just took so long to create. This is definitely the least bullish of them all, of these high or larger indices. Again, still 20% from all-time highs, and from the lows here we only rose around 18.8%. The ones I've liked recently and have been trading is DAX. We came down in 3 here. This was again one of those opportunities that we hit 1-to-1 extension, and then we started to go up. So again, this was my entry here, and looking for more up. I already taken most of it out because we have this major divergences here, and again now creating new highs, which is well, it's possible that we are just, this has been the correction and we created something like this, or this would be a 1-2, which would be super bullish, but you would much rather have this as a ABC, at least so far. ORS 200 very similar. RSI has reset itself here, and we have the potential of going up like so as well again. The previous idea for this one was that we were looking for the C wave here as an ABC, looking to get a partner leg here of this. We still have the highest RSI here. We have created divergences here, have not reached the 1-to-1 yet, but again we are getting towards that, and well, we have already taken out the highs of wave A. So again, one of the main targets has been reached. Again, this was the second trade that I had, and this was somewhere here against actually this low, which was 3%, and now we have rose 6%. So again, 2-to-1 trade here. What else? I think ORS is pretty weird. Otherwise, I don't really like the higher time frame labelings, but this was the one that I wanted to trade based on the smaller time frame, because this looked like a 5-way to me. But yeah, those are the all the assets that I wanted to go through today. Very fast of a live stream this week, as we didn't get too many requests on Discord. So I think we're going to be ending it there, since I need to be recording the Patreon Patreon exclusive videos again. But yeah, we already went through quite a few different ones that again have some kind of potential setups in the future soon. So again, take a look at those and see if they are worth looking into later. And of course set some alerts for those. But I think that's going to do it for this live stream. Thanks for well, not participating too much, at least on the chat side, but at least watching. So yeah, that's all. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.